What is up, survivors? We're back for another mod review. Today's mod review, we're going to be going over simple brews. This is a pretty simplistic mod. That seems rather redundant. Anyway, let's get into it. So we're going to have a lot of different brews that we're going to craft. They're going to be used on you or on your dinos or on dinos that you're trying to tame. You can make them all here at this Brew Station. The Brew Station is automatically unlocked at level 10. You will need to irrigate it. It does require irrigation to hook up to, so you place your pipes down and then this guy will snap to it just like your indie cooker does. You need fiber, metal, stone, thatch, wood. Craft it on your person, plop it on the ground, and it plops right here. So there is actually something I want to test real quick just to make sure of. But anyway, this essentially works like a cooker, right? So you're going to be able to make all your normal stuff on here, like your energy brew, your health potions, your sweet veggie cakes on here, your regular crafted food, and even your kibble is all on here. But you're going to be able to make specifically things for this mod on here, or the brews are going to be on here. But the other thing I wanted to test is that apparently this thing is supposed to burn charcoal down for you really quickly. So I'm going to go get some wood real quick and we're going to test that out. All right, so wood in here, turn the sky on. I'm going to let it burn for a second while we're talking about it. Let's find out. Anyway, you'll be able to make everything on here. Obviously, it requires wood to power as well. So irrigation, wood, something that does fuel, spark powder should work as well. Anyway, there's a couple different ones. I got everything in the preserving bin over here so we can kind of take a look at it. We have a super stimulant that removes all the torpor off of a creature. We have a structure weight brew that's more for you. It actually reduces the weight on structures. There's a few other ones that remove the food on a creature, reduces the time it takes for a creature to mature, but we're going to test all of these out. But again, they're all made right here, which looks really cool. I like how this crafting station turned out. Doesn't look like it's making charcoal for me. I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe we'll let this run, come back to it after we're done. All right, so let's take a look at some of these real quick. Pull them all in my inventory. Now, mistakenly, I thought that these would expire, hence the preserving bin, but they actually don't. When you craft these, they don't have an expiration on them, which is really, 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 really nice. So let's talk about your creature ones. So let's take a look at the instant tame brew. This one is supposed to remove all the food from a current creature. What we're going to do, and I have admin commands on, so this guy's just going to sit here and take it, mainly so we can science this. Are you going to go night night? There you go. Okay, night night. Anyway, so let's open it up. So our food currently is at about 2,700. Let's feed him one of these. Bam, food goes all the way down. So your food bar goes all the way down. You can immediately start feeding these dudes. That's pretty useful. This is useful for a couple different reasons. Obviously, one, if you knock it out, you can immediately start feeding it. But this also means that, like, let's say the tame gets screwed up, right? Well, now you won't feel too bad about letting it wake back up and knocking it out and starting this over again, which is really, really beneficial. I get some vegetables off this preserving bin over here. Feed a couple to this guy and test out a few other capabilities we got. And bam, we have tame parasaur. All right, parasaur, I'm over here. I don't normally tame you guys, but well, we're doing a mod review and I need your assistance. So, all right, next up, I think we're going to try the change gender brew. So this one is force fed to the creatures and it will change the gender. So right now we have a male parasaur. Move this guy over, feed it to him. Let's see what happens. Bam, we got a female parasaur. This doesn't look like a timer either. This isn't like a certain amount of time like some of the mutator things that we've seen out of like SS or S+. This is permanent. This is a permanent change. You are now a female, which is another super useful thing, especially when we talk about breeding. I don't know how many times I've went out to hunt a creature and the males I find like 5 bajillion males with great stats and 1 female. Well, now you can reverse all that with just this simple potion. Pretty cool. All right, we're going to get a saddle on this guy because the next one to test is the creature XP Brew. This is supposed to give me an XP boost for a certain amount of time. I don't know if this is like a specific... Okay, it is an XP timer. I'm seeing the timer show up. I wasn't sure if it was just a straight up boost. It looks like the multiply... I don't know. It might be that the equivalent of like maybe finding an explorer note, it looks like. Because this is a low level and yeah, it got 1 level. But I mean, that's pretty much the only level that it's gotten so far. But that's okay. But that means that we can get an XP boost constantly, which is a nice thing I like because there are plenty of maps out there that don't have things like explorer notes on them, so you don't have this option. That was always one of my nicer ways of going out and leveling creatures up. I don't know why I tried to fit to this door. That was always a nice way I always leveled creatures up, was going out and finding explorer notes to get the XP boost and then go out and harvest, fight, or whatever the creature's purpose is. But with something like this, I don't really care about what map it is. I'll be able to do this all the time. And so far, it looks like all of these abilities A lot of these are, there's a few of them for your players, but the majority of them are definitely for your dinos. While I'm back in this crafting station, which does look like it's pumping out charcoal, these are official settings. I didn't change any of the fuel burn settings, so that's why it's just dragging out. But there is I didn't make it, but there's a sweet meat cake option in here as well, which is essentially a carnivore's version of veggie cake. So now you have veggie cake, but then you also have meat cake as well. I kind of like the addition to that. It was always super cool to be able to heal herbivores up super quick with the sweet veggie cake, and now you have the option to do something for your carnivores like that. All right, next potion we have unlocked is called, where am I going to get back on here, is the cooldown reset. This will immediately stop the cooldown. So if you're waiting on a cooldown in order to mate your dinos again, you don't need it. You can feed them this and they immediately get reset. Now, obviously I haven't bred this parasaur yet, so I can't do that, but let's go find us a male real quick and test this out. All right, well, we got a male parasaur. They are mating. While I'm waiting for that, there are a couple things that we can talk about that are for your players. We have, where are we at here? The structure weight brew. And then also the other one is the crafting skill brew. Now, again, I have admin commands on, so I'm gonna turn some of these off so we can really test this. But the crafting skill brew is supposed to apply all your levels to your crafting skill. It adds whatever levels you have to your crafting skill without removing the levels from your other stats. Let's test it out. So I've turned GCM mode off. As we can see, my stats are back to normal with the exception of the ones that I've upgraded just because I normally do these in admin command mode, so I don't need a lot of this stuff. Anyway, let's feed ourselves one of these. Crafting skill is at 1150. Crafting skill is at 1150. This does something to my weight though. I'm not sure what's going on here. It adds whatever levels you're... Because if we notice, when I did that, it upped my crafting skill all the way up, but then my weight went down to 0. I'm not entirely certain. Maybe that's an added effect that I didn't see. Definitely not in the description here. So it looks like your weight goes all the way down, but it only does it for a certain amount of time. So it's not like you're going to have this infinitely. So it's for about a minute, which is helpful when you're crafting things or when you're building things. So this potion is definitely, when you got the awesome blueprint, you're trying to make it really good. You use this so that you can carry the resources on you, throw it in a crafting station, use this because your crafting skill's that high, make something really awesome, do it within a minute, and then you're golden. I like that. Very convenient. The other one to talk about is this guy, the structure weight brew. This is supposed to give me a 75% weight reduction on all structures. So I'll turn game creative mode back on, give myself a bunch of structures, flop back, and then we'll see. All right, I spawned in a bunch of stone triangle foundations that weigh 200. Clearly I'm way over the weight. Let's see what this guy does. It goes down to 50. Nice. Now see, I'm still overweight, but that is a nice little addition. Now what I would be curious about is if I can combine these two. Now let's say I put enough over here so that I'm not encumbered anymore, which shouldn't be too terrible. So let's say I put, where is it? So now I have all this stuff in my person and I'm weighed down. However, these stacks go down to 50. What I'm going to try to do is use the crafting skill one on top of that. And it does. Okay, so you can use these in tandem to kind of help you move around and build. So this is definitely a builder crafter paradise with these guys. I like the idea of this. This is really well done. Very easy. I like this because this is something you could easily implement on a server without handing out like admin commands or things like that to players. I like that idea quite a lot. Very well done. But yeah, so it looks like you can combo them up. So if you're building a lot, if you're really building a giant base, or just the back and forth of constantly grabbing the materials to make sure you can craft. I mean, this cuts out a lot of time and a lot of headache that can be a little frustrating at times. There are a few others that I still want to test out. Which ones were they? We have the super stimulant I wanted to test out. All right, so back over to the parasaurs. As we can see, there's a timer. They laid an egg. She's got 48 minutes on her. We're going to take the reset one. This is supposed to be the cooldown reset and see what we get. And bam, they're right back to mating again. There's some jokes there, but I'm not going to use any of them. Trying to keep it a little PG. Anyway, the other two we have are the super stimulant and the growth burst. Now, the super stimulant should wake up a creature pretty immediately after we knock it out. So it should remove all its torpor. So don't worry, buddy. It's going to be a catch and release sort of thing. All right. Pteranodon is out cold. Torpor is maxed out. Put a super stimulant over here. Bam. Now you're wakey wakey. Now you can go out and do your thing, man. Just a little bit of science. No big deal. Nice. Very nice. Again, that's convenient, especially with the one that removes all of its food. So let's say you knock out a creature, you accidentally hit it, or a creature attacks it, and you're not going to get the max taming effectiveness. Well, now you could wake it up, re-knock it out, and then follow it up with the food potion and drain its food all the way down. So I like that these work in tandem with each other. There was definitely some thought that went into making these. Lastly, we have the Boost Brew, which is supposed to help creatures mature faster. So what I'm going to do is run an admin command to shrink this little parasaur down to a itty bitty baby parasaur, and then we're going to try feeding it and see what happens. So you also are going to be a science experiment. Okay. Looks like your little baby parasaur that's now hovering in the ground, hovering above the ground because I did something silly. Let's try feeding you. Oh yeah, there we go. Holy crap, that goes fast. Here you go. Full-grown parasaur. Man, you grew fast. You had a growth spurt. Hopefully you get your health back. You'll be okay. We had to science it. It's no big deal. We just shrunk you down. It's kind of like a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids sort of thing. You wouldn't understand that. You're a dinosaur. Anywho, yeah, wow. Okay, so you can reset the breeding timers and have your animals grow faster, and then also change the gender on a fly, which is really useful. This really just changes up your taming and breeding, really. This is going to help out your taming quite a bit. It's really kind of an insurance policy with your breeding, or with your taming rather. And with your breeding, it's definitely a saver. I like that. I like the idea of still having to play the gamble of mixing the right stats and getting all that stuff going. But this fast forwards a lot of the redundancies. I think if you're just getting new to this game and just trying it out, you probably need to experience some of this stuff on more of an official thing to really get a flavor for it, to really feel exactly how frustrating it can get. But then if you stack a mod like this on top of it, man, you're going to save yourself a lot of time later on. And that is pretty much it. That's the Brew Station. I dig this. I think this was done pretty well. I thought originally that it wasn't going to have quite as much to offer in there as it does, but man, it really does. I mean, this isn't just a couple of random potions thrown in the mix to see what people would do with them. This is actually some well thought through things, and like I said, I really enjoy how they do work in tandem and play off of each other. You can use these in a lot of different situations. Plus, I guess if you're a server admin, you could definitely have this mod loaded, and it would help out your community a lot more, and you wouldn't have to be running around fixing and helping and doing stuff. This helps them do a lot of that stuff for themselves, really. This one I think really helps your player base handle a lot of the day-to-day grindy nonsense a lot easier. I think your player base is really going to appreciate you loading this one in. But that's it, guys. That is the Simple Brews mod. We will leave a link into the description of the video so you guys can check that out at your leisure. And as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. See you guys on the next one.